This is a Forwardly podcast.
Hey, Colin.
Yeah, Cadence.
Do you like media and entertainment that's badass?
Durr.
Do you like media and entertainment that's bitchin'?
Yeah.
And how about a little bonkers?
Hills, yeah, throw that in there.
Then I think you might like this thing called the Baywatch Rewatch.
Oh, God. Are you trying to promote the podcast I'm actively doing with you right now?
A little bit. Is it working?
Cool intro. All right, well.
Let's get started.
Let's get into it, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going.
We can't hear your response, but tell us anyway.
Let's just keep talking like this.
You guys, by this time, you will already have heard our Showgirls 2 Pennies from Heaven. Hopefully, you will have heard our special little...
Hopefully you're still listening because you didn't quit just because the
boy.
bonker balls situation that was.
You guys, and even if you like, just, yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. Well, because I was going to say, like, don't even rush out to see it. Because it's so nuts, but it could be fun to watch. I was actually thinking what I was getting was Geely. That's what was going on in my mind.
Oh,
where I was like, I never want to recommend anybody go see this movie.
Right. Colin and I we were together when we were doing the last couple episodes, like we said. And so we, of course, did what we always do in our spare time, which is find really, really terrible movies to watch. And one of those movies was Geely. And you will see the product of that.
You guys,
we didn't intend to make anything from it, but we were so enraged by it that we shot an impromptu rage video. Of
just like 11 minutes of us just raging about how awful this movie was. We'll say it again, like, Cadence and I love a good B movie. We love love a good B movie. And sometimes it's like they're so bad, they're so bad they're good. That's why we love it. Geely was not, it was just on a whole nother level of like awful,
just bad.
Just
so bad it was
terrible.
bad.
It was so bad it was bad. And it wasn't even like we can make fun of this bad. It was just bad. Ugh.
It was too busy being offensive to every group of people. It was just everything about it was infuriating. It was horrible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was
and
horrible.
You'll watch the clip. We put a little thing on YouTube, which
we're not going to double. We're not going to double up and rage here.
Yeah, the only thing we will say, just for those of you who don't watch that, the movie is about a lesbian who falls in love with, kind of like tries to woo this guy. For no reason. Like there's no
reason.
He's the worst guy ever. And there's no reason for her to do that. But the whole time she's trying to have this guy be like really sexually attracted to her. And she's a lesbian. So it doesn't make any sense. Why should we do that?
You would think that maybe if they went the route of like, you remember Roxanne, where the guy with the big nose, he's providing all of the like poetry and the conversation for the really handsome guy because the handsome guy can't think of what to say. If they had done like a mistaken identity situation where maybe she fell in love with someone who wasn't who she thought she was, and there was like maybe something like
or
that, which sort of like blurred the gender lines.
Kind of. Yeah, I thought that's what they were. I mean, I literally thought that she was going to be acting like a lesbian to not blow her cover. The whole time I was like, Katie, there's no way. There's no way she's real. Why is she doing this if she's a lesbian? And nope, she's a lesbian all the way to the end. And then they become gay best friends. It's bizarre. I don't know. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. So don't go watch that movie. But what I was saying earlier is actually Showgirls is kind of fun. If you have 3 hours of your life to dedicate to a very fever trip of a movie, then Showgirls 2, Pennies from Heaven, go watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're going to be watching it being like, should I invest my time? Like, should I really invest my time?
Oh, after the first like maybe minute, you'll be like, what am I doing here?
But I just surrender to it, kind of like the pain of getting a tattoo, where if you just like give in.
Yeah, just give in and let the ride let the ride take you. Let that ride take you all over that ride. No, just give in to
Trust
the high.
Us. To the high. Surrender.
So today we are doing basically our season finale.
Woo woo.
We make it like it's like a big deal, but it's just another It's not that
I
like
mean, yeah.
we're just
We're just
telling
going to
you.
sum up the last couple episodes.
Well,
of the
not
season.
only is it our Be-Watch, We-Watch season finale for Pacific Blue, it's also the season finale for Pacific Blue, the show that we're doing.
For season 1, yeah.
First season. And this has been a wild ride of ups and downs, and we've had the best time watching this show.
Oh, man.
Because we had never seen it. Like we said before, we had never
No.
watched it. And so this was just...
My life is legitimately better because of it. Quality has increased tenfold.
Yes, we've gotten a lot of good like jokes and sayings and quotes from it. It's just, and I didn't know that bike cops in Santa Monica Beach in California were I didn't know it was such a robust community. And
A robust community of 5.
of 5 cops. I didn't know those were things, but who would have known that bike cops on the beach? Wow. Could
Yeah,
really
it's a
get you
rough
in.
job. It's one of those things you don't hear a lot about. It's sort of like when people work for the FBI or the CIA, when they have to kind of be in deep cover. It's sort of like that. It's like you know they exist, but you don't know the details because that would be giving away too much.
Mhm. They live in the shadows.
Of all the crimes that happen in the middle of the day.
Oh, in the middle of the day. So yeah, this will be finishing up for you guys, and then we'll Cadence and I will be making some more fun stuff for you, and then we'll start season 3, which is going to be even better. All right. So speaking of those midday crimes, let's just get into the story. So today's story episode, we shouldn't start with laughing. It's actually a quite somber episode, and there are some real big things real big, what do you call them? Like
What do you
real big things that happen. Real big things that happen in the episode. Real big, like impactful. I don't know,
real big-
impactful.
some
things.
real
Real
big things.
big things happy. Some tough topics, some heavy topics. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. Some real heavy
That reminded me
things.
of the time you tried to say crime and it was such a obvious word and you were like, that would be my crime, my crime.
I could not. Sometimes I have total fucking brain farts. But you know what I've been doing now that I've been getting older?
Brain
Like,
exercises.
and Alex gets really upset, but I'll just stop talking in the middle of a sentence, like in the middle of a word, because I'm like, it's not even worth it to finish the sentence. Like, it's wasting everybody's time.
And it's going
the other day I
nowhere.
was calling, right? And it was funny. I was talking to, my friend Rachel the other day, and I was on the phone with her, and like just literally immediately stopped talking. And she's like, "Did you realize that no one was buying that and it was going nowhere?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's just move
You're
on.
like
Like, let's just move on with the
that
topic."
SNL skit where he keeps like ruining the joke. He tries to like jump in and then he just kills the bit every
you
time.
wanted to show me
Oh, did I not
that the Kyle Mooney
yeah,
one?
where he kills the bit.
Oh my god, you talked about it, but I never saw
I thought
it.
I sent it to
And
you.
I saw like a preview for it.
Anyway.
Yeah, anything Kyle Mooney is kind of me.
So point
really
being, it is heavy. There are some tough topics. Once again, Chris has really terrible luck with men. So
Oh, poor
what we're going
sweet
to do
baby
is we're
Chris.
going to do both episodes 12 and 13 as our finale because they are going to pack a punch together. So
pack a Pacific punch.
thanks for that alliteration. Your brain did not fart. Didn't fart for there.
Did not fart out on that one. Oh, and also this episode has a lot of good guitar riffs.
Oh, so
We're gonna
many.
get some in
They're
there for you.
emotional.
Cue those
they're
guitar riffs.
intense. Oh, they're good. They're real good. All right. So the first thing that we see is a tattoo shop. What time of day is it?
Midday, of course. High noon. High
On
noon.
the pier, and there's a really big, muscular, tough guy who has, he's wearing leather, he's wearing boots, and he's putting all the money from the cash register into an armored briefcase. So he's taking that somewhere important. He leaves the shop, and right when he gets to the back to where his car's at, someone's greeting him.
Also, why so much money from a tattoo shop? Are they just having an influx of people needing tattoos? They're just rolling in
You
dough.
have no idea how busy it is on the pier.
That's true. Pure tattoos, man. They're probably high in demand because you would think that it would just be someplace like maybe a diamond store. Maybe if they were in the jewelry district and Rebecca was there, maybe you think
Maybe.
it would make more sense that he's leaving a bunch of money, but it just seems
Or
funny
we
out of
don't
a
know
tattoo
how often
parlor.
they're emptying that cash register. It could be like 2 weeks worth of money or a month's worth of money.
It could be like a whole year. It's all year. This is their yearly
It
deposit.
just seems like a lot. So he's met outside by a criminal, and this criminal takes the shape of every other criminal we've seen. What kind of gun does he have?
Shotgun.
And what is he wearing?
He's wearing full trench. He's got a freaking goatee, the hair, a chain, they literally, whoever wrote this show had a complete concept in mind for bad guys. Midday bad guys.
They have a mold. They have a mold. So this guy basically shoots the tough guy from the tattoo shop in the foot, steals his money, and we know from that moment,
ruh-roh,
this is going to be the focus. They're going to try to figure out why the hell these shotgun bandits are riding around. Oh, P.S., all their crimes happen on motorcycles, so they're motorcycle bandits.
Motorcycle shotgun wielding, leather coat wearing bandits. Ugh, Pacific Blue, you never fail. Here, let's pause it real quick. 1, 2. So that day, we're met with TC and Chris having a little conversation, and TC's dropping some hints about something that could shake up the whole dynamic of the show.
Whole squad.
Actually,
yeah. So he's telling Chris. Well, first of all, he's incredibly insulting and is like,
"You smile, Chris. Today's a big day for you."
Why are you frowning? Turn that frown upside down.
Turn that frown upside down. I'm just copying you again. I was just like trying to say something better, but no, you got it. Okay. He's telling her to turn that frown upside down.
I got it. I'm good. So it turns out that something really big is happening, you guys. The squad is getting a new recruit.
Yes, we're getting a new recruit. Well, that's what he's leading to. He's like, Chris, let me tell you, I've got the tea on this. Talk to Antoine Mortimer. He told me that a new recruit was coming on.
Antoine Mortimer was like, there is a secret journey ahead. There will be a mysterious elf in the forest. Just taking...
You will see a new recruit with a badge of gold and a gun of metal.
No,
and they're like, it's a new recruit.
That's too obvious. He wouldn't say anything that straightforward.
A breathing organism. Oh, I love you, Antoine Mortimer. But yeah, Chris basically...
Love you, Antoine. Just...
Love you, Antoine. His name is Anton, but I keep calling him
it's
Antoine.
Okay. It's cool. Antoine would love it.
Antoine Mortimer. So yeah, basically TC tells Chris, and she's like, her little ears kind of, boop, what's going on?
This particular scene stood out to me because of like how weird TC's being with Chris. He's kind of like being condescending, and he's also being sexist at the same time.
Well, I think they're also trying to do that. Like, it's kind of like that. We obviously went over this in our other episodes, not to be a mean flirt, but it's kind of like, I don't know, he treats her like this small child, but then he treats her like he has like obviously like a crush on her. So he's kind of mean to her. And I think it's supposed to be this like, oh, we're just palling around. But then it just is like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
come on,
he pushes it. We already said he makes her like smile. Oh, you look so pretty when you smile. And then he's like, come on, with this new recruit, like you won't be the baby anymore. You'll get to sit at the big kids table. And he just gives her this weird speech. And I feel like maybe he's like protesting too much, you know, like, no, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. I don't think you're cute at all. I don't like you. Get away from me.
I mean, I kind of get what he's saying because she was the newest recruit. Right. So he's saying that maybe, and I just got that she might not be like the new one anymore, you know?
Oh, so she's
the baby.
Not going to be the baby anymore? Is that what you're saying?
She already went through her 3 days of training. She is no longer a baby.
Let me just say, I will circle back to that 3 days of training shortly because we need...
we got to talk about that.
Because it's a big deal. Okay,
So as TC is telling Chris, you need to smile more and come in, and it's saying, and I will say this whole episode is filled with the most bizarre like dialogue. I think the people were trying to get more creative with dialogue writing, and you guys, they use the dumbest, weirdest, we'll get to it later, but it also just ties into why TC is acting so weird and saying the weirdest
I think
things.
that when they were writing, you know how sometimes if you couldn't think of words, when you were like on a Word document, you could highlight it and then look up like synonyms? They would just type.
They could not do this in
They
the
would
90s.
just type up a...
This is 1996.
No, you could, at least with Word documents. It was basic.
You could do this in 1996.
Yes.
Look up synonyms in Word documents.
Yes, I was in high school in 1996, and I had to write papers. Just trust me.
I don't know.
You were
this.
2 in 1996.
Yeah, I was like 2, so I don't remember all, like 2 or 3.
Anyway.
But I take your word for it. Big sis.
My point is that it seemed like they just typed a sentence for dialogue, and then they would just do like synonyms, and then they would replace all the words in the sentence with the synonyms and be like, this sounds different. This sounds sophisticated.
This sounds cool. Bike cops use this lingo all the time.
That was my theory.
It's really weird.
Anyway.
But meanwhile, as they're having this conversation, they hear that someone has been hurt.
Yes, someone has.
Get on your bikes, pedal over that little hurt guy.
It's the guy who's been shot that we already talked about by the shotgun-wielding, trench coat-wearing motorcycle robber. And luckily, he's only been shot in the foot. Luckily, TC and Chris were right there because somehow they can just be everywhere at once and nowhere ever. Well, the thing is, don't you remember, like, if they would have called a black and white, no, the black and whites couldn't have gotten behind the shop that fast. It's a small area to maneuver. The black and whites give up. If they pull up to an alleyway and their car won't go through, they're just like, oh, I guess he got away.
Criminals away. That's how you know how to get out of them.
Bike cops?
Get out of them. That's how you know how to get away. Just go in an alley. Bike cops can't do it.
Exactly. So the bike cops wiggle where...
Exactly.
They go where no one else can go before. So this guy's like kind of wedged in an alleyway, shot in the foot. And so that's why they get to him with such ease. They just glide their bikes right on in. And
and also this guy's carrying a shotgun, by the way. And he shot
motorcycle
the guy with
robber.
the criminal motorcycle robber. Shot him with a shotgun, and it's just like a baby little hole in the top of his foot.
I know,
and
his
like,
whole
do they not know how shotguns
his
work?
whole foot would have been
his whole
blown
foot
off.
would have been blown off. It would have been so nasty, but he's just got a baby little hole, and he's like, ah.
Not such a tough guy now in your leather, huh? Tattoo
Right?
shop guy. You're no match for a bullet.
So anyway, they made him. They take him down to the station. No, I don't actually know what happens.
Well,
He goes in for questioning after he gets his little foot.
Yeah, he
healed.
definitely sees medical attention first, but then eventually he has to go back because he's a witness, you guys. He's a witness. And
he's the only one that can say, I know the shotgun wielding guy that shot me.
I saw him right in the face. So they reunite back at the station, and there's quite an entrance being made at the station.
This is where we meet a new character, Scott Kramer, and he is the rough, tough, bad boy of the group. Oh man, you just see it in him. He's just a cocky little
bastard.
Cocky little guy. He is. He's just walking around just like finger guns, like choo, choo, like he's.
I think
the
you
best,
mean
like that
real
type of guy.
guns because he has Uzis in his backpack.
I know.
Don't you finger gun Scott Kramer?
No, he does not. He uses real guns. But yeah, Scott Kramer, the young buck of the group, the new baby.
But they don't know it's him at first, okay? So let's just set the scene. The normal gang is in there, knowing a new recruit has to come at some point. All of a sudden...
Except for, should we tell people right now? Except for something sad. You guys, Del Toro's just gone.
Oh, right.
I'm hoping that he shows up in this episode. I am, but he's been gone for like 2 episodes. The boxing episode was the last one he was in.
He just
learned he was a boxer.
He got knocked right out.
Do you think he got knocked out? He's in the hospital.
Yeah.
He's in a coma. They don't tell us that, but
I hope Palermo's happy.
Actually, he probably didn't get knocked out. He probably fell in love with that
I was just
guy,
going to
'cause they
say
had
that. I was
weird-
going to say maybe they just ran away.
Oh, I'm hoping they ran away.
Because that was
and
his
became,
coming
like,
out
the gay
episode.
boxing couple.
So
It was such his coming out episode. He's like,
Yeah,
bye.
exactly.
I'm gay now. Bye. See ya. I don't need this
he came out
anymore.
and was like, I don't have to pretend anymore. I'm never coming back to you guys
He
again.
just took off on his little glitter bike and left.
So yeah, we don't...
But yeah, sorry. So we say the gang is
Yeah,
there,
no,
but
that's an
we're missing
important
Del
thing to
Toro.
delineate because, yeah, Del Toro's not there. So there is a piece of the heart and soul missing. So they're waiting for, who they think is this new recruit to come in. And all of a sudden, this guy in a leather jacket and jeans comes bursting through the door. He has 2 giant, huge guys on either side of him. He's dragging them in, and he's like,
Someone wants to call his mom. Alleyway, let's go. I got a couple of Girl Scout fellas in here. Get in there. I'm sure you know the deal. Oh, hi. Sorry I'm late. I got delayed on my way in.
Delayed.
Yeah, I was riding to work, taking it easy, when I caught these 2 slugs trying to steal the news helicopter they keep out on the edge of the pier.
You brought these guys in by yourself?
Chopper was only 20 feet off the ground when I was finally able to shove them out. They hit the ground good, man. Problem is, the chopper hit the ground, too. It's burning. So's the pier. But I radioed the fire boys. Everything's cool. All handled. I almost forgot. Here's their Uzis.
Excuse me. But who are you?
I'm Scott Kramer, your new bike cop.
A helicopter crash. What are you doing pulling him in? Like, how does that... You don't just leave the scene of a helicopter crash, Scott.
I know, I died.
Scott Kramer. I feel like someone's just having a little too much fun telling tattles because that is not true. And also,
They're like really Scott Kramer because we can see the pier from here.
Scott Kramer, I don't see any helicopter on fire. I'm looking right down the beach. And also, like... The police are like, oh yeah, that's fine. Just take those two bad guys in. We're not going to help you or anything. You do it, Scott. Like, he doesn't have a police car. Like, does he just walk in with them? Does he have him on his bike? He's not wearing a uniform. This guy, like, what? I have a lot of questions for Scott.
That's why I can't figure out how these humongous 6'7" guys who weigh 400 pounds, like, why they agreed to come with him to get locked up. Like, they had total upper hand size-wise, and somehow...
Literally just run away. Just run away.
Ow.
You're the only one responsible for getting there after this helicopter crash. I think you'd take a little bit of time off or get someone else to do it. Like, he wants to see it through. He's someone who sees things through. He doesn't just bail when it crashes. He goes through the whole thing.
So as you can see, Scott Kramer comes in with a bang. And
he's coming in hot. And let me tell you, just like you guys are wondering about this story, some of the other team members are a little bit...
What are they?
What's the word?
What are they?
I cannot think of words. Suspicious. I hate vocabulary.
TC, you can see in his eyes, like, he's a little bit jealous. Like, part of him is like, is this true? Is this a true story? Is there really a helicopter crash? The other part of him is like holding on to the Uzis that Scott Kramer has just passed over to him, being like, it's kind of badass, though. He might be cooler than me.
I know. He's kind of like, now that is a cool guy. I'm a cool guy, but that's a cool guy. And physically, Scott Kramer looks a lot like DC. Very similar. Like on screen, you might not know which is which, but yeah, he kind of has. And then I think her ears go up and she has a couple of throbs, but she got to keep it professional. But you can tell she's got a little twinkle in her eye.
Oh, yeah, of course. He dragged in two gigantic, huge Hulk criminals.
I mean, I would love that.
So Scott Kramer immediately hears the rumor that there's a gang of motorcycle robbers running around town, and he does not waste any time at all. He tells Palermo, I got to be on this team. I got to take care of these motorcycle robbers. And Palermo says...
Like, right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you just left a helicopter crash. Like, slow your roll. Like, take a night off. Drink some chamomile tea. Seriously. But Scott's like, no, I got to go right now. We got to fix it.
Scott Kramer found the meth.
I know. Scott Kramer, he either got bit by meth snake now, or maybe he found and ate it because he's so
He's
frantic.
running around the evidence locker. So Palermo says, no, you're going to need, quote, training wheels, so to speak.
No, I was dying. A training wheels reference, but then we know what you mean by training, Palermo. He needs a couple hours of dodging you jump out behind a trash can. He needs 3 hours of kind of riding through cones, wobbling on his bike through cones, and he needs like you have to jump out at least twice, and he has to brake, and then that's his training. You know it as well as I do, Palermo.
The reason why I said I'd bring up the 3 days later is because he doesn't even do the 3 days training. He doesn't do any of it, which is why
he's Scott fucking Kramer, dude. He does not need to do any training. Are you kidding me? He doesn't need to know how to ride a bike. That's for pussies.
You know what? He does employ a very creative solution to not having undergone the training later, but we'll get to that in a moment because right now we're going to point to the fact that the guy who's been shot on his foot is back in the police station. He's been cared for. He's seen a doctor. He's now.
This is tattoo parlor guy that Chris and TC found. He's got his medical attention that he needed. Die early.
Yeah.
But I just was thinking of myself. I wanted to say, like, going back to Scott, like we said, like the training thing, you guys, he's that guy. He's like, Scott doesn't need no training. Like, that's his character. Like, he's like always saying like, he doesn't need this. And he just does what he wants and flies by the seat of his pants. And he's just like, I do what I want. Like, he's too much of a bad boy to even go.
Is he speaking in the third person or is he?
Scott Magruder doesn't care. Scott Magruder.
Magruder?
Oh no, Kramer.
Don't you bring Magruder into this?
Oh my gosh, Magruder. I don't know why I thought Magruder. Scott Kramer.
Well, maybe just because Magruder will always be in our memories as Amphiboman.
Amphiboman, he comes back. But yeah, Scott Kramer is that type of guy, just to so you really sets the mood for you. But yes, we meet Shotgun Shot Foot guy.
Okay, so Palermo has specifically told Scott Kramer, you are not helping with the motorcycle robber situation. You've got to go through your intense training or your training wheels. And he pats himself on the back for that joke. And then cut to guy who's been shot in the foot from the tattoo shop is now sitting in an interrogation room. His foot's all propped up. He's received adequate medical care.
Good. I was worried about
and,
him.
We have a little guy just marching through that interrogation room door. It is our friend Scott Kramer.
Scott just bursts in there like he owns the damn place, getting so frustrated. And I mean, that's how it feels super off the books. Like, where's Miko? He's an HR nightmare at this point. Scott's proving himself an HR nightmare.
The way he's like weaseling himself in is he brings the guy some coffee. He's like, hey, I brew this coffee myself. I get the beans from Jamaica, and it's way better than the coffee they brew here. That is swill
so
compared to this.
Dumb. He's what's his name? He's Zoolander's the guy from Zoolander, the blonde one. Very Owen Wilson's character. Like he's just gone everywhere, done everything. Like he's so cool and unique. Ugh.
So he's trying. This is kind of what makes me giggle. Like this guy who got shot in the foot, he didn't do anything wrong. So he's like.
Nope, just running that tattoo shop.
So
Hard
like
worker.
you would think that Scott Kramer's playing good cop in the sense that he's like, I'll bring you some good coffee, like I'll get you talking, I'll get some info. Like if that guy was the criminal, then that might be a really creative solution. But this guy did nothing wrong. This guy's just here to report on what he saw. And so Kramer doesn't need to butter him up for any reason at all.
Yeah.
He's
no
there to
reason
tell
for
the
him
information. He doesn't need to be like oiled up. He's going to tell.
I know, right?
He's the one
like,
that got
"Dude,
robbed.
It's my tattoo shop. I worked really hard for that tattoo shop. You know,
I
my
will
dad
tell you
gave
all
it to
the
me when I was
details.
60, and I just, there's no reason, but Scott's just like, let me get it out of him. And they're like, dude, put on your training wheels, bud. Tap the bike brakes because you are a little too aggressive.
Yeah, because in the end, he's like, if you tell me everything, I'll get your money back and I'll whip their asses. And at that moment, Palermo comes around the corner and he's like, Kramer.
Why are you doing this, bud?
Well, I literally just said training wheels.
Yeah, it's poor Palermo. Just can't keep anybody in line. Poor guy.
No, and he tells him, he goes, I run a by-the-book operation, Kramer. I'm like, Palermo, you tumbled down 5 flights of stairs. You got shot.
I know. Scott could have just been like, how many times have you been shot, Palermo?
You
Like,
got
been real
kidnapped
sassy
by
with
an
it. Like, cocked his head.
infernus.
How many times have you been shot,
I
bud?
promise you nothing you do is by the book.
Yes.
I promise you.
Nothing's by the book. Yeah, so basically Palermo's kind of mad at him. So maybe that day or some other time, scene change. We meet this guy. That was like a record scratch.
It sounded like it.
This is me. This is my life. No, we see this like kind of Weasley, like accountant lawyer looking guy, business suit. Those really
So
ill-fitting
boxy.
like 90s suits that are like way too big and boxy. And he's enjoying himself a hot dog. And this guy comes up to him, this roughed up guy that acts like his character should be a 20-year-old male.
But he's like 52.
But he's like 52. And he's just like,
I'm just doing you a favor. Eating that stuff will kill you in the long run.
Being around you will probably get me killed a lot quicker.
Oh, come on, Hambone.
and he's got like a bandana. Like it's just very like Rufio from Hook status. And you don't really know who this guy is. Whoever they cast to be this bad guy, he's the head of the motorcycle guys. He might have been the guy that actually shot the guy in the foot. We don't know. It was someone in his gang.
The other thing about this criminal is that he has the weirdest accent. The way he chooses to play this Robert, makes
this whole episode was the weirdest dialogue.
He's like, hey there, Hammer Schmidt. I'm like, what are you
He's like an old, talks like an old, like, I don't know.
It's
You're
such
like,
a weird
what
choice.
are you doing? You better get over here, Hammer Schmidt, and we're going to get you. And you're like, why is this 60-year-old man dressed like a 20-year-old punk?
I'm just a
and
hip
talking
guy
like a
running
Southern
a
Deep South
motorcycle
plantation?
gang. I don't know what you're talking about.
And He is. He's trying to be so cool and quick and like have these like kind of like got your nose like front, like you know like no, just, hey little guy, got your nose.
like,
That was to be the saddest thing.
Hammerschmidt on a park bench.
I meant like he's like teasing him, like he'll hit his head and like you know when bullies like that they'll like slap your junk, they'll do like a little nut tap, like he's like doing that kind of
I'm
stuff.
sorry, I can't
Got your
breathe.
nose.
Just the idea.
Well, because that fits the guy's age
It
range,
really
but
does.
not the character.
The
he's
combination of a
playing.
motorcycle robber and the guy who chose to play the motorcycle robber in that way, saying "got your nose," was just too much for me.
Ugh,
So
it's too
in
much.
this really
Too
weird,
much.
bizarre interaction, you find out that the Weasley guy with the suit is named Hammerschmidt, and he is doing something for the gang, which is
Listen up. We're getting rich, aren't we, little buddy?
Hey, I'm not your little buddy. And the name's Hammer Schmidt.
Okay, hell, I'll call you Chef Boyardee. As long as you keep feeding me the right marks.
The guy's name is Birchman. He runs a liquor store.
Liquor store? I'm not going in hot and coming out with nothing but credit cards.
The tattoo man's pouch was full of cash. Birchman's will be too. 430. He's like clockwork.
He's kind of like their little rat informant, like their little snitches get stitches bitch informant.
so. So Hammerschmidt's giving them the deets. He's telling them. So Hammerschmidt works at a bank. He knows where all of these stores deposit, or like they deposit at his bank, right? So he knows roughly how much money they're bringing in and roughly what day and all this stuff. So he's feeding that information to the grandpa gang leader.
To grandpa gang leader. It's like seriously like yeah, it's like if an old person decided to act young and like take over a gang. That's what it feels like. It feels like if a grandpa like was told to act like a young hip person. Got your nose. And his little fingerless gloves. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, basically Hammerschmidt's informing them, and that's how they know where to go, and they know where they're going to be, and they know what kind of money they're going to get, and they're going to track down these guys and like grab their safety deposit things, just like a tattoo guy.
So right at this moment, Chris and her new recruit, Scott Kramer, are making their rounds on the pier.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of flirtation's happening.
Yeah, Scott immediately makes like a weird sexual comment to Chris, but whatever.
He's the bad boy.
He can do whatever he wants. There
He
are
can do
no
whatever he
rules.
wants. He doesn't train. He just does whatever he wants. But Chris obviously is kind of feeling it because she's like,
Well, and you know, if he's a disaster, she's on it because that's
Poor
that's her
girl.
taste in
Poor
men.
girl.
Are you a mess? Are you a flaming pile of crap? Cool. Chris Kelly wants your bod. So at this moment, the motorcycle gang they're committing a robbery as we speak.
Daylight, midday robbery. They are going to get this guy that's getting into his really nice, like, old vintage automobile, actually. It's kind of this cute, like, red, white, little striped thing. Anyway, he's getting in, and the motorcycle
Tell me
gang
more
comes
about the
up.
car.
And the car is, like, kind of shiny.
Kinda
And
shiny.
so... I know that's all I know about cars. It has a steering wheel, and it's kind of shiny. So, yes, Chris and Scott are there, and they see this happening, and so they alert the authorities, and now you hear like police lights going off.
They get
police
they get the
sirens.
like the thing over their CB radios or whatever, where they're like, "There's a robbery taking place at this location," and
At Ocean. Get to Ocean.
at Ocean now. And Chris is like, "You absolutely cannot participate in this. Like we just got the talk. Palermo said no," and he's like, "Oh, trust me, I'm gonna participate in this."
Do you think Scott's gonna listen to Chris? Come on, no way.
So the black and whites are on the job, all right? They got the call before anybody else. So they start making the chase.
Oh, you guys, Scott. This is where his true bad boy comes out. Because he
finds a really creative way to participate in the chase. You wanna expound?
Yes. So the motorcycle people, they hear the sirens and they're like, shit, we gotta go. So they go. The cop cars are chasing
Shit,
them.
we gotta
Obviously,
go.
black and white. Oh, shit, we
Police
gotta
are
go,
coming.
guys. We can't commit these midday crimes. Who would have thought? And the black and whites are coming after him, but of course they're in cars. And so Scott, He's fast enough to catch up with the cop car, the black and white cop car. He's so fast. And keep in mind, they're going about the same pace as these motorcycle guys. He gets to the side of the black and white cop car, grabs the inside of the cop car, like on the door, and he's like holding it like kind of like you would a headlock, but the side of the black and white cop door. And they're like pulling him along, and he's like, keep going. Don't step off the brakes. I'm going to get him. And so
And
then
the guy who's driving is like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, don't mind me, just keep going.
Who is this guy? We're trying to get motorcycle cops. We're real cops, buddy. So sure enough, they're really getting close. And then, of course, this bitch walking her damn baby has to cross the road, and it causes this police car to come to a screeching halt. And Scott goes flying in the air, just like flying. I mean, he was holding on to a fast-moving car. What did he think was going to happen?
I don't think, you know what? I don't think he thought anything. I think that's the way Scott Kramer's brain works. It just goes blank.
You know what he should have done? He should have, after that, gone in and been like, that's your training, Palermo. That's your training. Because that would have been a badass thing to do. I would need training for that. No one can just do that.
That's what I was going to make the joke about when I said I'll get to it later, because then he gets into that crazy accident and he ends up in the sand. And I'm like, if you would have had 3 days training, this would have never happened. Part of the training is you don't hook on to driving cars. Everybody knows that.
We just went different routes because I'd have been like, that's my training, bitch. But you're like, you know what? You got in a very serious accident, Scott, because you didn't train.
So basically they end up back in Palermo's office because do you think that a police officer on the bike squad can get into an accident on the beach and Palermo's not going to hear about it?
No, Palermo hears everything that goes on in that damn parts.
He's got his.
And he already knows Scott's a bad boy. Every time I say bad boy, I think of, do you know who I'm doing?
No.
I'm doing Kate McKinnon as Angela Merkel.
Oh, yeah.
When she's like,
I was going to say you're doing a German
Obama.
voice.
She's like, Obama, he's the nice guy. And then we've got Putin. He's the bad boy. And like, she's just being Angela Merkel with Putin. And it's every time she says it cracks me up. So that's going through my head. But yeah, I mean, Palermo's pissed.
So they get back to the office and he's got Chris and Scott in there. He's like, what are you doing? This is not responsible. This is dangerous. Chris, you're his overseeing officer. What are you doing?
Kelly, you're his training officer.
You can't blame her, sir. How's she gonna stop me if I...
Shut up, Kramer.
I failed to take sufficient command initiative, sir. It won't happen again.
It better not. I'm not going to any funerals because of hot dogging or grandstanding. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
So as Kramer's leaving, Palermo's like, hey, can you just for 1 second turn around? Because I looked through your file. Palermo, number one, he's always looking through people's age.
I know, I was just going to say, he is doing massive invasion of privacy. What he did with Del Toro and found out all his little secrets. That's probably where Del Toro left.
Yeah, he totally
You can't just go willy-nilly through people's freaking... I guess you can, maybe.
He's like, you know all my secrets, and you made me box for freaking 4 dinners at Hal's. This is not okay.
Yeah, that's why Del Toro left. He's pissed. He's still so upset about it. I would be.
So he basically tells Kramer...
What is it with you?
I don't know, sir. I'm like a big kid or something. I tend to get caught up in the moment.
I look at your record and I see nothing but 10 years of clean busts and commendations. And in the last 10 months, you've been bounced from 3 different divisions.
An incredible streak of bad luck, sir.
So
Yeah,
we don't
something's
know
going on with
quite
that,
yet.
Scott. Something's going on with that, Scott. So later, Scott and Chris, definitely something's happening between them. Chris is getting a little bit of the throbs. And Scott just is feeling it, and he knows that she's into him, and he's just kind of like, yeah, I could teach you how to be cool. Because now she's like, I need to know more about you.
I feel like Scott's the kind of guy that just rides around assuming that everybody's into him all
he
the
does.
time.
His character is the worst. But she is. And so he's kind of like, yeah, I can show you how to blow up motorcycles, and I can show you how to jump off things and do all this stuff. And he's like, I can also teach you how to go.
Corey also catches Chris kind of off guard by being like, I think you like him. So somehow they're just forcing... Between all of them, they're just forcing this.
Yeah,
Chris and
Corey
Scott
does.
thing.
There was one point when she's like, Chris, you like him. And
They've seen each other for like 0.2
I know he's
seconds.
done nothing to show her that he likes it. But anyway, he's kind of basically he's saying that he can kind of train her to go undercover and do all this stuff. And so she's kind of feeling him in not only like a sexual way, but also like a, hey, you can teach me some things. You can train me.
Hey. So she says, you know what? Now that you mention it, I actually think I have seen the leader of the motorcycle robber gang at this gentleman's club that I hang out
Corey,
at.
what? I mean, Chris, what
And
are you doing at a gentleman's club? Like, what is going on?
That's what Scott says. But then Scott does this thing where he goes, "Oh, a gentleman's club. Now I'm really impressed." And I'm like, Scott, don't be one of those guys.
Get out of here, Scott. Get.
You know what? You may get your wish.
Oh,
you just may get your wish.
So she does. She's like, I know. I think I might have seen the bike criminal, the 40-year-old Peter Pan hook weirdo at this place. And then it kind of turns into this, well, let's go on a date / I'm going to trick you into kind of going undercover.
Right. They decide to go to check it out just to sort of get the feel and see if it's him and the intel is correct. But they're not going to go in their spandex. For once, they're not going to go somewhere in their bike
they're going in their civvies.
For once. So they go to this.
No, they pull up in their fresh civvies.
And it's not a gentleman's club like you're picturing, because they do clarify, not like a dance hall or a strip club. It's actually
it's like a dive bar, like a gross dive bar.
Yeah, so you get like dollar beers and you can play pool. That's why Chris likes to hang out there. It's right around the corner from her house and it's cheap beer. So they go to the bar and immediately we see our grandpa
gang
motorcycle
member.
robber.
And he's with the accountant.
Hammerschmidt.
So we see, Grandpa Peter Pan, and he's with Hammerschmidt, and then he's like, "Here's your cut," and he's basically like handing the accountant like a chunk of money from his cut, and the accountant's like,
in public.
You can't do this in public. It's the first thing that doesn't take place in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
And so this accountant's kind of freaking out, and he's like, "Oh, cool it," Meanwhile, Chris and Scott are at the bar.
Well, I just wanted to say that the accountant, Hammerschmidt, he's getting a little nervous because he's like, I think I might want out of this. It feels like it's getting really risky. It feels like the police are catching
your
on.
Instinct, Hammerschmidt. You know how long. What's the end game? What's the end game here?
Right. That's what I always think when I see people getting involved with criminals or the mob, like in movies or something. I'm like,
what's the end
how did
game,
you think
bud?
this was gonna
What's
end?
gonna happen? I know. Did you think that you were just gonna make all this filthy rich money from robbing tattoo parlors and
then just be like, you know what, I'm out.
So Chris and Scott are just kind of having this romantic interaction at the bar, getting very flirty. And then Chris is like, "Speak of the devs, I think that's the motorcycle grandpa."
And Scott has zero chill because he's Mr. Bad Boy. So he
Oh my God.
This is my favorite
You guys,
line,
this is where it all got,
thing.
we have to, yes, this is where the whole show went super just off the rails.
So they're playing pool, motorcycle robber grandpa guy, and Scott walks over to them and he starts challenging him to this game. The robber guy goes, "Oh yeah, what's your name?"
Chance. No, you see, that'd be me. Well, isn't that a coincidence?
There's only one chance. In your case, there's no chance.
Oh, Scott. This is the kind of douchebag that he is. Yeah, Scott has zero chill, walks over there, gets in the biggest fight. I mean, shit goes down real quick, guys. Like, for no reason. Like, Chris is even like, Chris is even like, "Scott, don't go over there and do this, buddy. I know you're the bad boy of the group, but don't go over there." And Scott's like, "Learn?" Or "Look and learn," or whatever, all cocky, and then he just goes over there and gets a fight with them. It's crazy.
I thought it was going somewhere. I thought he had a plan. Like they were going to use the fight as a distraction to do something else, but nope.
He just gets the shit beat out of him. Just the shit beat out of him. And sure enough, who's there to save the day but TC?
Two Gun TC.
What did you say?
Two Gun TC.
Two Gun TC shows up right in time because he was trying to figure out where that Chris is. He doesn't know where she is, so he had to follow her.
Yeah, he was asking around, like, just super cash. Like, hey,
where's Chris? Where's she? What's Chris doing? Where's she?
And so, yeah, they end up finding her. He has to save the day, of course. He has to calm the rumble.
Why do people get, like, why is it, like, this quintessential, like, pool table bar thing? Like, I've never seen a fight in, like, a dive bar where there's not a pool table. Like, it has to happen.
Wait, you know what I just had a memory of?
What?
When you guys knocked over that person's motorcycle outside of the pool hall and you almost died.
That was the scariest time of my life. Oh my God. Quick story time, you guys. I won't give away too many details because it's really, oh my God. It's like the one time I thought I was going to die. Me and a really good friend, we were in New Mexico having a good old time. And we decided to go to this bar called, it's pretty much called the Buffalo Bar. And really, it's just a place.
No, I thought you went to the new one.
Yeah, you're right. Is it the Flame?
Oh my gosh, the Flame. I was going to call it the Edge.
So
the Flame.
rewind. So me and a good friend, we decided to go to this really nasty bar in New Mexico, a small town in New Mexico, and just not cool
Called the
people hanging
Flame.
out there. It's so gross. And we got there and had a great time. We were drinking. I actually decided for once that I was going to be the designated driver, so I wasn't drinking. And
that is for once.
I know. Love a good drink. Love a good cocktail. I sounded like such a drunk right there. So I was like, you guys have fun and I'm going to. So sure enough, that was not a good idea because I have really terrible eyesight, you guys, and it's gotten worse with age. And so I get into my friend's car. I back, she's in the passenger seat. We back up and all of a sudden we hear like, and we turn around. I knocked over full reverse and knocked over a guy's brand new Harley Davidson.
Oh my
And
God,
he,
it hurts.
before I could even register what I did, he was jumping on my windshield, banging on it, like yelling at it. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck do I do? I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And he like slowly, like literally, you guys, he's wearing a leather, like I swear to God, it sounds made up, but he's got tattoos, leather vest.
Does he look like the
skull cap.
motorcycle game robber?
It's so intense. And so he's like that guy. And all of his friends are like starting to swarm around. And so he's banging. And I can't pull all the way out because the motorcycle's back there. So I'm like kind of blocked in.
Trapped.
So I'm trapped and I look over at my friend and I was like, oh God, here it goes. And I got out of the car and I just kept being like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Needless to say, it was not okay. It ended terrible. My friend got out. We were trying to calm people down. The next thing I know, it was just a total mayhem. My friend has a girl jumping on her, pulling her hair, slamming her forehead into the back of the trunk.
No.
And the thing is you guys,
Funny, but
it's not, in the moment I was like, I'm going to die. You guys, everyone, there was people got arrested. There's blood. Nobody touched me. Not one person touched me. And I sat there covering my mouth like, oh my gosh. And you guys, they literally just went crazy mode, ran in, got pull sticks, started fighting everybody in the bar. Yes. And all his friends were fighting because essentially you're probably asking what caused this fight is some sweet, beautiful angel baby. She and her group of friends saw us and they were like, don't kill them. Don't kill these two stupid white kids. Like, don't do it. And then she started arguing with them about him being parked illegally. So it started this like rumble. And then they just, all of them went at it. Everybody starts fighting.
Ducked out.
And I was just standing there by the door like, oh my gosh. And so the police came, people were injured. It was but again, it was the scariest night of my life. And I kept just holding my hands up and I was like, insurance guys, insurance will cover it. Like
you're just showing everyone your insurance
I just kept trying to show everybody my does this work? They're all bleeding and hitting each other with beer and
with
beer
pull sticks, being
pull
impaled.
Sticks. I'm like, hey guys, here's my insurance card.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
It was
till this
so
moment.
funny. And you actually had given me a haircut. You had just given me a haircut, and so I looked super Julie Andrews at the time. Like that was when I had my little Julie Andrews moment of my life, and I know that they
you
were
guys,
like,
Colin he went through a phase where he looked like Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music. Same color, same cut.
oh, it was the most beautiful Julie haircut ever. I loved it, but I looked exceptionally feminine, and I decided to wear a like lime green deep V.
Of course.
I definitely did not look like I should be at a dive bar in New Mexico. But man, it was the scariest
It is kind
night.
of a miracle you made it out of there with
I still
no
don't know
injury.
how I did it. I don't know what happened, but they were like, we can't kill this stupid gay kid. Like, there's just like, even for
We're not
us,
gonna look tough.
like, yeah, even for us, like, what is this going to show people? Like, you killed a defenseless gay white teenager. Like, no. So
Who weighs like
stupid.
$1.15
Oh, it was
soaking
so
wet.
dumb. Yeah, I was such a skinny little. It was so nasty. But yeah, that was my bar fight story. It was pretty intense.
We could have used Two Gun TC that night. That's for sure.
I could have used 2 Gun TC. Ugh, where were you? But I also
TC,
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Thank you to whoever that girl is.
Yeah,
Whoever
seriously.
the girl who came with her like posse and started yelling at them for being parked illegally, which she had a point. She was a secretary at a law firm, and she knew, and she saved our lives.
All right, so the point is, as TC shows up at the end, he helps calm this whole shit show down. But the important part is that he tells Scott, you can do whatever you want to yourself, but don't you get Chris killed? And what are you trying to do? End up dead? And Scott says,
See, that's the beauty of it, TC. They can't kill me. I'm already dead.
So what do we think is happening with old Scotty
Instantly, I'm like, Scott, you are using your emotions as just the wrong way to express yourself. You're so hurt on the inside. Let's just talk about it. You know, let's figure it out in a safe way. But he's just basically being reckless, a reckless bad boy. So Scott just really proves himself. But I don't know, that wasn't even cool at this point. It literally was like just the dumbest, most reckless thing you could do. And he got a lot of people. There was no purpose. He had no plan. It was really weird writing. I don't know why they would choose to make him do that. I think it's just to prove that he's very reckless because, you know. So, of course, him being Scott, TC, and Chris, they get a real heavy talking to from Palermo. Palermo's got his hands on his head.
Heavy petting.
He's got.
And I was like, nope.
You heavy petting. Oh, I hate heavy petting.
That was such a church term. Necking and petting, and I could never
heavy
figure
petting.
out. All I imagined was like people rubbing their necks together, and I was like, "What is sexy about?"
I guess
that?
I thought petting like your vagina, like actually just like you would pet a cat, like just rubbing your vagina, or like petting your penis, like letting it like lay in your hand and just sweetheart, just like petting the top of it, giving little treats. It's so gross. I hate the word heavy petting.
So nasty.
So
okay,
they do get a very heavy petting from Palermo where he's just so upset. And like I said, he's got his glasses on his nose and his hands on his hips. And he's like, you guys, I'm mad. And then they're like,
he doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do. They're like, Palermo, really? And he's like, I'll think of something. But and then they just kind of walk out of the room. It was real sad. Palermo has no control over this group at this point.
He had the moment to like assert his control and dominance, and he didn't at all. He petered out so hard.
So
he did the emotional equivalent of falling down.
He did for Palermo. So they all kind of just walk out of the office, kind of laughing at him, like Palermo, that dick. And later, Chris and Scott decide to go out and wear matching leather outfits. And it's
so this is after they've been in the bar fight. Mm-hmm. They've been in trouble in Palermo's office. And now they're still walking, and they're in their toughest clothes because they were undercover at the bar. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're wearing matching leather.
And I would like to say that like Scott literally almost killed Chris and got like the whole bar fighting, and she just forgives him.
So you know she's in love with him.
She forgives him like right. She's like, "What'd you do? I didn't even. I thought you did was pretty cool. I liked it. You definitely had a plan." Like, no, but she was so relaxed about it. Just went right back to him, and I'm like, "Girl, he almost got you killed. Not only did he almost get you killed, he almost got you fired."
Chris is all over it. Like she's the worst taste in men and the worst luck with them. So immediately, she's like, "Want to get married? Want to have babies?"
Pump him out. Not Corey. Corey doesn't want to have babies, though. Don't have Corey come.
Don't. Corey's in the background being like, "Don't even say the word baby to me."
About a baby.
All right. So because Chris has the worst taste in men, she decides that this is a good time to start making out with Scott. Obviously, I mean, got your leather to rub together. You can be as squeaky as ever. And she's like, I might just be thinking about the future. And he's like, I don't really like to think much about the future.
Oh,
and she still doesn't get.
He's not. The puzzle pieces are not clicking for her. Poor girl.
No. She's like, listen, this might sound weird, but a guy did it to me once. Can I lick your badge?
This sounds really strange, but like, do you want to put like some flavored syrup on that badge and just let me go to town? You lick a hole through your face trying to get to it. You guys.
Christopher Walken comes in for one scene.
Yes, that was.
Put that bag on your head.
Marie Calendar meals. Like, what are you talking about? That was a scene from Gigli. Christopher Walken makes literally one appearance. You never see him in the movie again, and all he talks about is like licking your face off to get to the top of your head where you have a Marie Callender's lunch on top of your head.
Yeah, like
it's bizarre.
The whole scenario is basically like he says, I really want to go to Marie Callender's, get some pie and ice cream. Then I want to put it on my head. My tongue will lick my brains out trying to get to it. Mm-hmm. And then he leaves the room. And then you never see Christopher Walken again.
It was brilliant writing.
So,
good movie. Great
you
movie.
might forever and always hear us making references to your brain will slap your tongue will slap your brains out trying to get to it, and that's
true.
What the reference is. Because I had to I heard it the first time and was like, that could not have been what I heard. let's rewind it and put the subtitles on.
Nope.
And then we did it. And I was like, oh,
Nope.
nope, that's exactly what
you
I heard.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so the next day, Palermo is just casually walking his bike, which I know I have yelled at you in the past for saying,
casual.
How dare you say that
Casual.
Palermo's doing anything casually?
Nothing casual.
He is walking beside his bike, which is a weird choice, but you know what? I don't say casual because he is thinking about something really important, which is Scott Kramer.
Mhm.
Because at that moment, Scott Kramer comes up and he's like, listen, I've been digging through your files round 2 through HR.
Jesus, Palermo, get a life. What do you do in your spare time? Just go through people's...
He's got all those boxes. Remember those boxes and boxes of files in his house?
I wonder what Corey was up to in 93. Like, you're such a weirdo, Palermo.
He's just drinking and learning everyone's secrets while he's alone.
To, like, not have any leverage over them.
Recovery time for all those gunshot wounds.
Well, I was going to say, he's learning
time.
everybody's secrets to, like, have leverage over them, but he really doesn't know how that works. He's like,
leverage.
One free dinner at Hal's, or I'll tell everybody about you being a prostitute. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure, Palermo, you got that.
It's like $5.
Yeah, he's
It's a
just thinking
buffet.
he's so cool.
Good.
Fucking Palermo.
So yeah, he takes Scott aside and he says, listen.
I'm doing some checking on your work history, Scott.
16 felony collars in 6 months. Thing of beauty, isn't it?
It's the 5 transfers that caught my eye. And the 2 partners on the DL.
Yeah, well,
Talked to a couple of your captains. They both said the same thing. Unnecessary risk after unnecessary risk.
hey, I was just doing my job.
Rumor has it you're hiding something.
Don't listen to rumor.
Turns out, Palermo, this is the one time Palermo is a detective and does anything even slightly detective-like. Because he goes,
I figure it's one of 2 things. Either you don't care about dying, or you're dying already.
Palermo, one thing, A, you can't just ask somebody if they're going to die. Palermo, you can't ask somebody if they're going to die.
Rude.
That's
It's
so
rude.
rude. And B, like, I mean, he's got no tact, doesn't know how to do anything. He's got no social
No, he
skills.
doesn't.
So it's like, sounds like he...
you're gonna die, huh?
You're going to die. But you guys, it's true. Scott is going to die. He's got
he's...
brain cancer.
That's why he said to TC he's already dead.
He's only got a couple weeks. Only got a couple weeks. And that's why he's being so damn reckless.
This is my favorite part of that conversation, though. Because Palermo's like, you're going to die, aren't you? And he goes, if you breathe a word of this to the press, so help me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Scott,
What would
get
Palermo
over
say to the press?
yourself.
And does the press even know who you are?
He's such a real housewife. He's just like leaking his own stories to TMZ. The press.
You breathe one word of this to the press.
Okay, like, what would the story be? Man has brain cancer. Sad man dies because he's got brain. Like, there's no story there. That's a sad,
Starting
sad
fights
thing.
in pool halls. Like, there's just nothing. There's no story there other than his family's going to be very sad, it is tragic. But the press probably has other things on their mind. There's a freaking motorcycle gang.
Yeah, I would think that the press was more focused on your helicopter that you pulled down and crashed. Like, I think that would make the news more than, this. But, I mean, needless to say, we're not going to get too into it. But he can't date Chris if he's going to die, you guys. That's just not going to work out.
It really isn't. Chris doesn't know this either, bless her heart. But the last thing I want to say about this conversation is, he tells Palermo not to tell the press, not to tell anybody else. Definitely don't tell Chris. And he's like, you just want me to lie? And Scott goes,
If I'm lying, I'm not dying.
Oh, God. You guys, the whole episode is filled with these stupid Scott one-liners.
Stop.
We will, because we're getting better at it, you guys. We have, like, a great team that helps us make little clips and stuff. You might have seen them on our Instagram. So we're getting a lot better at doing that kind of stuff. So we'll definitely show you. But this guy, he is that, like, I don't know, just that perfect Hollywood bad boy. They, like, act like a total, I don't know, dick. Like a... No, I was gonna say like in the 50s, like in the 50s with like the jackets and the he kind of Christopher Walken, like a greaser, like because the way they talk, he's just like if he says if I'm not lying, I'm dying. Like, come on, it's real bad.
Yeah, and it almost has this vibe like he came from New York or something, like somewhere from the East Coast, because he's got that really thick sort of accent that you can't quite place, but it sounds like it's East Coast, and he's a tough guy. But you know what? It's the whole thing's so confusing that I'm trying to find meaning in it, but it's all chaos. It's just all chaos. It's all chaos.
At the end of the day, he dies.
Kind of like life.
At the end of the day, he dies. Scott, one episode. We thought that he was going to be a new character.
Yeah, we got so excited.
We were like, someone to shake up the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? He wasn't around for long, but he really did shake up that team.
He shook up Chris's team.
Mm-hmm. They learned a little thing or two from Scott.
The motorcycle gang, as we talked about earlier, the leader of the motorcycle gang has found Hammerschmidt, the bank guy, in the bar. And Hammerschmidt was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't think this is a great idea. We already touched on that. So once again, Hammerschmidt comes face to face with the motorcycle gang. And he's like, you guys, I don't want to do this. I think I made that clear before. And they're like, okay, give us this one last location, and then we'll give you your cut and you'll be free.
And what do you guys think is going to happen? Like if a 62-year-old gang member that's dressed like Peter Pan tells you that, what do you think is going to happen? No freaking way.
Yeah. So he tells them, and then they use their shotgun to shoot him in the face and hide him in the trunk of his own car, which is really dark for Pacific Blue.
Which is really dark. And also, it's really hard to find him because his license plate actually says his last name. It says Hammerschmidt.
Yeah, they had to use a very creative spelling in order to get that on the license plate. But yeah. So they kill him. But in the process, like, because keep in mind that everybody on the bank team, on the bike squad, they have not yet put two and two together. They're still looking for the motorcycle gang. And in the process of looking for them, they have at this point put two and two together that all of the places who have been robbed, they all deposit their money at the same bank. And guess what? They all have the same account manager. And guess what? His name is Hammerschmidt. So they go on the lookout. Yep. Chris and TC go on the lookout for Hammerschmidt. He's not at his house. But then they look all over the city until they find a car with a license plate that says Hammerschmidt. And they're like,
wonder if it was him. And he's dead in that trunk. He's been killed. Killed dead.
So at this point, they know it's getting real tricky because people are ending up dead. People are ending up in trunks of cars. So this culminates with, and it all happens very quickly. It's not even me just like skipping over it really quickly. They decide to do this one last hit on a store and then get out of town after they kill Hammerschmidt. But in the process, because it's the middle of the freaking day and they've already murdered someone, of course, someone calls the police. And of course, a chase ensues. And of course, Chris and Scott are on the chase. So they go to the pier. And this has actually happened once before. This happened with Annette when they ride their bikes to the end of the pier and then they decide to jump off the side of the pier and finish the fight underneath. It's a real classic go-to move for the gang. Because I guess under the pier is one place their bikes can't go. They can ride on the railings of the pier. They can do high wire acts on the pier, but they cannot jump the actual edge of the pier and go under it. I guess it's forbidden. So for whatever reason, Scott's like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I'm going to die of cancer. I'm going to go under there. And Chris is like, you cannot do that. They're dangerous. They have shotguns. And he's like, you know what? I have no fear.
What are you doing? I'm taking it myself.
No way, we're partners.
All right, just be careful.
So she goes under with him, okay? And they're just like being little sneaky mice back there with their guns. And all of a sudden, from behind a pillar, motorcycle gang leader with his shotgun
tries to shoot Chris.
Moment, this is all happening in slow-mo, of course, right? So he picks up his shotgun to aim at Chris. At that moment, Scott looks over. He sees motorcycle guy aiming. And then what do you think he does?
Takes the bullet. Yeah, that's very true. He gave his life for Chris. You know, he's a bad boy, but also a really good boy.
Yeah. So
yeah, he dies. And of course they catch motorcycle gang.
He doesn't die. He sacrifices his life.
Yeah, it's not the same as dying. That's right. He sacrifices
his
sweet bad boy life for Chris. I can't believe that that goes down. Of course, his last days are taking down those cops.
But even in my absolute favorite thing is that even as he's dying, he still is aware enough to make like a Scott Kramer one-liner where he goes, "Now all the girls will like me and think I'm cool."
Oh, geez,
As he's
Scott. You know what?
dying.
Just die.
You know what?
She just covers his mouth. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Just go. See the light. She's trying to like cover his eyes.
You don't need to say anything. You don't need to say anything.
Scott, sweetheart.
He's doing finger guns as he's like slowly losing consciousness. She's like, "It's okay. It's okay. We love you. We love you."
I mean, it was a dark episode for sure. I felt like I was kind of sad that Scott didn't get to stick around. At least stick around for more than one episode.
I know. And of course, it's one more love interest for Chris that does not last. Like, she is getting hit after hit after hit.
It's to represent
I don't get
that
it.
TC is the one stable, normal person in her life.
But why don't they give anybody else shitty love lives? Like, it's just her is repeatedly. I don't get it.
I think she was supposed to be like the sexy one of the group. I think she was
Corey's by far the sexier one.
Oh, Corey's so sexy for sure. But she has a stable, loving, conservative boyfriend, as we learned.
Well, yeah.
But well, yeah. I shouldn't say that.
We don't know that yet.
Not everything looks the same on the surface. Oh, what? Dang it!
I don't know what
I was trying to
say.
Not everything appears good on. I don't know. I'm gonna give that one up. I'm giving that one up. So that wraps up our Pacific Blue episode.
Yeah, the last thing that I wanted to talk about is just so Palermo, because he's like the quote father figure of the group. After Scott dies, he takes Chris out for a one-on-one walk on the beach, and he's just kind of like helping her process it. And he goes,
Got what he wanted.
He wanted the wrong thing.
You sure? We're not taking down a killer. 2 killers. His last moment was as a winning cop. The last thing he ever saw was you. I hope I go out that well.
That's weird. Palermo,
do you
Palermo,
also
do you like love me?
like Chris?
Palermo, like really? That's gross.
I literally was just making out with Scott Kramer, who just passed.
I
Are
know,
you
Palermo,
really asking me out right now, Palermo?
Palermo, but sweet Palermo doesn't know what he's doing. He's such a little dingbat.
Bless his heart. The other thing that we really didn't touch on, that it's too confusing and mind-numbingly bizarre as a plot point, is that there's a whole subplot where part of the precinct goes in on lottery tickets together. And the reason why is, the only reason I want to tell you this is because there's a really sweet quote where Elvis, because he's the genius of the bunch, he says, "Yeah, in my home country, I won an award for my theory on random numbers."
Well, hey, I'm good to see Elvis back. Good to see he's feeling good. Glad to see you at work, buddy. And it would make sense. His random country we thought we figured it out, but we do want to say also, just on that note,
theory
he's
of
getting
random numbers. What does that even mean?
His accent's getting real weird, you guys. It went from like that Eastern European to a real weird, like, I don't even know. He's all over the board with where he's
borderline
from.
Spanish.
Yeah, it's really nuts.
It's getting tricky. And he goes, at one point he goes, "There's a saying in my country. There's good news and there's bad news." And I'm like, "Bud, that's a saying in every country, I think."
He's the worst.
Good news and there's
But good to see him back
news.
in the thing.
But okay. And of course, because he's a bike genius, of course he's a number genius, and he has theories of
He's a
random
genius
numbers,
on everything.
of course. And a boxing genius, an equipment getting genius. He just does everything.
A hole digging genius, an alien genius.
A wife stealing genius. Remember that?
I do.
Remember that? So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because it was just one of those random throwaway lines that I was like, who wrote this and thought it was going to mean anything to anyone?
We need to put the whole like
a
script.
blender.
Yeah.
A blender wrote it.
You could have done better than that. Good one. You got him, Katie. You show them. All right. Bye, guys. I guess that's it. The worst. A blender. I bet a blender wrote that. Am I right, girlfriends? Sister girlfriends? Can I get a high five? Like, come on, a blender.
In my mind, I was like imagining someone like tearing pages out of a book and then putting them in a blender, turning it on, and then taking all the pieces out, letting them fall where they would, and then being like, there's the script. So maybe it required a little bit more explanation, but in my mind, it was hilarious.
Take that, Pacific Blue Riders. Yeah, thanks for sticking in, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Catch cash, not feelings. What is that? Catch cash, not feelings. You know, like you don't catch feelings, you catch
cash.
The check.
What do you?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was gonna say because you were saying he doesn't play by the rules. He does what he wants.
Right.
He's just like I'm not gonna follow the rules.
Okay. Well, I was just trying to
catch
figure
cash, not feelings.
I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
That is not a real thing at all. But keep going. Sorry. Well, because I was gonna say.
Know, just the whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, what is it like when white people pass each other and that's like white culture is like
yes,
whoop, whoop,
100%.